I got a conversation. I'm actually more looking for Laker fans' opinion on this one. Patrick Beverley was on his podcast. He does his podcast on Barstool Sports. And he talked about how he's still optimistic that the Lakers can turn the season around. So I'm going to actually keep this pretty broad and very open here. The Lakers are sitting at 3-10. You obviously got a W for the Lakers in their last matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. That game was at Crypto. And now you got a couple games coming up. Still not another game till Friday, but you got a couple games coming up that you think the Lakers will have a good chance or be in a good position to win, especially if they could potentially get healthy. But you got the Pistons and the Spurs coming up in your next two games at Crypto, Friday and Sunday. I'm curious to get Laker fans' opinion on if they're still optimistic that things can turn around this season, or do you think that 3-10 record is really who the Lakers are? I know there's a lot of conversation about, hey, are the Lakers going to go out? They're going to go try to grab somebody else? Are they going to go make some type of trade? Should they make a trade? Should they not make a trade? There's all these different scenarios that have popped up around the Lakers, and we've kind of gone through some of those before. I guess my question to Laker fans out there is just simple. Do you think they find a way to make things right? Do you think they find a way that if we're 10 games from now and they're 25 games in, are they a lot closer to 500? Or you think that this 3-10 record that they have is kind of the team that they are? Pat Bev, in his podcast, was spending some time talking about how the Celtics last year, they struggled when the season started. There's been other NBA teams out there that have struggled to start out the season, and then as the season progressed, they got better, and who knows? For a team like the Celtics last year, they actually made a championship run and got all the way to the NBA Finals. I'm not even talking about that because it's so hard to even be realistic, to kind of talk realistically to ourselves that the Lakers can rebound and have that type of a season without any moves, without any trades. What I'm talking about is more just being a respectable team and a team that other franchises think, okay, that's a tough out. Okay, their record does not actually represent who they are and how tough of a matchup that they are. Can they get back to that? I'll give you my opinion on this. And I know we've emphasized this, and I really do believe that you got a certain amount of games that will determine who you are. And if you're 25 games in and you're 10 games below 500, that's probably the team that you are. If you're 25 games in and maybe you started the season off really bad, like 2-10, but now you're closer to 500, you might be closer to that team where you're a team that just got off to a bad start, churned things around, maybe had some players that were injured, maybe you were looking for some better chemistry, maybe a couple role players come back, as in Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant. That has some impact as well. I do think these next 10, 12, 15 games will really tell you who the Los Angeles Lakers are. I don't think they're 3-10 bad, 2-10 bad, and I also don't think they're a top 3 team in the Western Conference. Can they find that middle ground? And if they can, then you're hovering around 500, and that's so tough to kind of imagine right now and imagine today because of how bad the start is. But if there's ever a time you're going to start winning games, it probably is right now because there's A, desperation, B, you can't keep digging yourself a hole, C, Bron had an opportunity to, kind of get healthy here over this 8-game stretch, and hopefully or 8-day stretch, and hopefully that's helpful to him, and he comes back on Friday. And you don't really have any other injuries, so I don't really have any more excuses, to be honest with you. So the Lakers are obviously, they're able to do it or they're not able to do it, and we're going to find out starting on Friday and see what happens over these next 10 or 15 games. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. If you got some thoughts on this, do you agree with Patrick Beverley? And should the Lakers still be incredibly optimistic about turning their season around? Or do you think who they are today is really who they're going to be for the entire season? Please subscribe to the channel. ESPN LA is our YouTube channel. I'm Alan Sliwa. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.